The first sign that something was wrong came when she began to pack. Not frantic, not hurried. Everything was measured, almost methodical, as if she'd run this scene in her head 100 times. I stood in the bedroom doorway, chest tight, watching her fold clothes into a suitcase. "Rachel," I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "What are you doing?" She didn't startle. She didn't pause. "I need space, Daniel," she said, simple and flat. Space. The same word she'd used before. The same word that had become a wedge between us when late dinners and sudden overnight trips started filling her calendar. I told myself it was just work stress, a rough patch. Now watching her, the denial felt thin, leaving me. I heard myself ask, voice cracking. For a moment, she hesitated with the zipper in her fingers, then met my eyes with a cool, practiced calm. "No, I need to see for myself." I blinked. "See what I demanded? Whether you're the man I should be with?" Those 6 words landed harder than anything else I'd felt before, a knife twisting in me. For days I clung to small signs, trying to convince myself she hadn't actually gone. The occasional clipped text, the autopilot updates. "I'm fine. Don't worry." "Are you eating?" When the update stopped, the tiny lifeline snapped. A week passed with no voice. Then 2, my calls went to voicemail. My messages showed read and nothing else. I felt like I'd become a ghost in my own life. Then Emily, a mutual friend, told me the truth in a grocery aisle, voice low, cheeks drained of color. "Daniel," she said, leaning closer. "Have you heard from Rachel?" I admitted I hadn't. She bit her lip. "She's staying with someone. A guy, Tyler." The world tilted. She'd moved in with another man. Hearing it stated aloud made the betrayal concrete. It wasn't a mistake. It was a test. She had set my heart on a shelf and paid rent with deception. The idea that she'd put our marriage under some cold inspection, treating my love like a subject to be measured, made something inside me crack. That night, the house felt like a stage set after the actors had left. Her pillow still bore the shape of her head. Her mug sat abandoned by the sink. The scent of her perfume hung in the bathroom mirror like a ghost. My mind rewound the scenes I feared. Rachel laughing with Tyler, their mourns. The secret she might now reserve for him. Rage burned hot and fierce. But underneath it, there was a raw, corrosive shame. Shame that I had not been enough. Shame that I'd loved unquestioningly while she treated me as an experiment. 2 weeks later, when her key turned in the lock, I was on the couch with the television playing mute. She froze when she saw me. That small, sharp intake of breath-like recognition and calculation together. "Daniel," she said softly, "you're still here." I let out a hollow laugh. "Where else would I be? This is my home." She set her bag down and smoothed her hair like she was composing a face for an audience. "I know how this looks," she began. My voice cut her off. "You left to live with another man to test whether I was worthy. Does that sound sane to you?" She winced, then looked at me straight on. I needed clarity. I needed to know if we were right. "Tyler," she said, "had been a way to see things plainly." I felt my hands start to shake. "You used me," I said. "You used him." Her tears came, quiet tracks down her cheeks, but they looked like guilt cataloged without love. "I'm sorry, Daniel. It was a mistake. I realize now, I want to be with you." Once those words would have stopped my heart in the best way. Now they felt warped by everything that had happened in the week she'd been gone. How could I trust a promise offered after the betrayal? I found myself unable to accept the apology. "You don't get to come back and decide what I deserve," I said. "You don't get to put my life on hold while you play judge." Her pleas grew louder. Emails full of apologies and promises piled up like paper boats on a stormy sea, each one waterlogged with reasons and excuses. The more she wrote, the more obvious it became. She wasn't remorseful because of the harm she'd caused. She was sorry it hadn't turned out the way she'd imagined. Friends split into camps. Some said I was cold, that love required forgiveness and endurance. Others looked at me with eyes that seemed to understand the savage gravity of betrayal. I replayed our life like a film. The first date in that tiny Italian place, her laugh that had once felt like sunlight. The night I proposed with my hands trembling. Had those moments been real, or had she been rehearsing the end all along? I could not tell. After a messy emotional separation, Rachel tried to patch things up with Tyler, too, only to find he had moved on. She drifted from temporary apartment to temporary relationship, never staying long enough to stitch her life back together. I, on the other hand, found something that surprised me. Healing didn't arrive whole. It came in fits and small, brave increments. Nights were long and sharp at first. I expected to reach for a body that wasn't there. But time, stubbornness, and small acts of self-care began to take hold. I learned new recipes and made meals just for myself. I ran early in the mornings, letting the pounding of my feet and the ache in my lungs scrub away the bitterness. I pulled out old paints, brushes I hadn't touched since college, found color again where grief had dulled everything. One afternoon, standing before a canvas gone riot with messy blues and warm gold, I felt a lightness I hadn't known in months. It wasn't the rush of reconciliation or the thrill of new romance. It was quieter, the steady, clean breath of someone who had reclaimed himself. Rachel had left to test my worth. In the ash of that experiment, I discovered a truth she hadn't seen. I was whole without her, and that knowledge was worth more than any apology. She had needed to prove something to herself, but in the end, the experiment proved something else entirely. She was not the one who deserved my